Ben Felder with the Piedmont-Gazette, and joining me today is Greg Evans, Piedmont-Gazette sports editor, and it's week 3 of the high school football season. And Greg, I want to talk a little bit about this week's game. Western Heights comes to Piedmont. It'll be Piedmont's first home game. It'll also be homecoming. But before we look ahead, let's look back. And the Wildcats fell to 0-2 on the season after a 20-0 loss at the hands of Harrah. And what did you see in this game? What did you see anything differently from the first game in week 1 against Deer Creek?
Okay, well, I definitely think that last week Piedmont moved the ball a lot better on the ground, but a part of that was definitely a scheme. They figured that Harrah would key off on the pass game because of how much success they had against Deer Creek the week before, and Cassius Calhoun definitely found a lot of running space on the ground, but whenever they got into scoring position, they just continually made errors and mistakes that coaches have really been focusing on fixing this week.
Yeah, 20-0 loss sounds kind of lopsided, but this wasn't a game. I mean, Harrah was definitely the better team. Yeah. I thought that was obvious, but it wasn't a game where Harrah was terribly that far ahead. You're right, it just came to not executing down at the goal line, a few mistakes. It seems like every time they would get momentum, there maybe would be a turnover or a penalty that would really just stop the drive, and they just couldn't get anything going. Now, Coach Church said that after week 1 against Deer Creek, when they had a lot of success with the air, they thought Harrah would key on that, so they wanted to go onto the run. Did you think maybe they leaned a little bit too much on the run, or?
I think that what eventually happened was they were having success there, so they didn't want to get away from it, and just they didn't have much success through the air whenever they did get into passing downs, and so I think they just kind of leaned on the thing that was working last week.
Yeah. Well, and we've seen almost every facet of the Wildcats game be successful at some point this season. In the first two games we've seen. We've seen the offense pass it well. We've seen it run it well. On defense, we've seen some good goal line stands, special teams. Josh Brown has shown that he's got a leg. Punts have been, there's been some successful punts. What do you think we're going to see in week 3? Western Heights comes to town. This is a game that should be winnable for Piedmont.
Definitely a winnable game.
What do you think we'll see in this? More balanced?
I think it's definitely going to be a more balanced offense this week. I know that a couple of weeks ago, Western Heights gave up a lot on the ground, but I think that Piedmont can definitely have success through the air this week. Just simply because I think Western Heights might be a little bit overmatched whenever they come into Southfield this week.
Yeah, and we're under the bleachers right now because of the rain. The forecast is for rain on Friday. Does that play into anyone's advantage at all if it is raining?
I think it kind of cancels out any advantage either team might have because both teams can run it on the ground really well. I know Western Heights has 2 really good running backs, and so they don't rely on the pass attack much, but Piedmont has its own backs that they can counter that with, and it's just all about stopping the run on both sides, and I think that Piedmont should have a little bit of an edge there.
Yeah, well, like I said, Piedmont's done things right in almost every facet of the game. The key to Friday will be if they can get it all together at the same time and see if they can pull out a win. They're looking for their first win of the season. We'll check back with PiedmontToday.com after the game on Friday for a recap of the game, photos, and videos. We'll see you next week as we recap that Western Heights game and preview week 4 of the season.